Hola, bienvenidos a todos. Good afternoon. My name is Abelardo de la Peña Jr. I'm the Director of Marketing and Communications with La Plaza de Cultura y Artes. Welcoming you once again to En Casa con la Plaza, En Casa con la Plaza Cocina. Every Monday, our cooking demonstrations, in which we bring the best of our region's chefs, restaurateurs, caterers, food historians, book authors, and more, talking about the finest food in the world, Mexican food, of course. So if you joined us on Facebook, please use the comment section. Let us know where you're viewing from. Welcome. You can ask questions, make comments. We'll take them during the presentation and most likely after as well. Those of you who have joined us on Zoom, bienvenidos as well. Use the chat feature to let us know where you're viewing from. We'd like to know where people are tuning in from. And then also we have the Q&A. You could ask questions there, or you could use them in the chat section as well. Today's session is sponsored by the return of AARP California. AARP California, of course, part of the big organization that does a lot for our senior population, including myself, a member. So thank you so much to AARP California for returning as a sponsor to En Casa con la Plaza. Before we get started, a couple updates. La Plaza is now open, 501 North Main Street. We're open Wednesday through Tuesday. That includes the weekends from noon to 5 p.m. No reservation necessary, but are encouraged at lapca.org. At the end, the museum gift store is also open, so bring cash, debit, or credit card. Open the same hours from Wednesday through Tuesday from noon to 5 p.m. The exhibition, Only Light Can Do That, a neon art installation by Patrick Martinez, you can visit it day or night. Just cruise by Main Street and you'll see the beautiful neon art mural installation. And finally, our public programs begin on July 17th. That's, less than a month away, with the return of all of you, hopefully, to La Plaza de Cultura y Arte, starting with the documentary screening of Carlos Amaras, Playing with Fire, outdoor screening on Saturday, July 17th. Doors open at 6, and like all of our programs, most of our programs at La Plaza, it is free. It will include a music by The Sacred Souls, a great panel with the co-directors and some artists hosted by Dan Guerrero, and then a lot more. You can find that all at lapca.org. So I'll stop talking here and welcome our host for today's En Casa con la Plaza Cocina, Jimena Martin. Please join us, Jimena.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Abelardo. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Good, thank you. This heat is exhausting. It's so hot today. But with that said, we have a very special guest from the Valley with her super cool recipes. We have Wendy Centeno. Wendy?
Hi, everybody.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me. How are y'all doing? Con el calorcito.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm enjoying your recipe you're going to be making with a cilantro and pumpkin seed pesto and a nice ice cold salad.
Yes.
Before we get started with your salad, though, tell us more about Guayaba Kitchen. I know we had you in the past. For those who are new to us, please share your story of how you guys came up with the name of Guayaba Kitchen.
Yeah, of course. Well, my name is Wendy Centeno, and I'm a community chef here from the San Fernando Valley. I'm from Pacoima. Shout out to Pacoima if anybody's out there watching from the Valley. And Guayaba Kitchen started over 10 years ago, and it was really out of necessity in the community and in the family. You know, I've always been involved in community outreach and community activism and food justice and what have you. And I started teaching classes and just noticing that a lot of people that were taking my classes were having a hard time dealing with a lot of chronic diseases that plague our community, you know, cancer, diabetes, high blood pressure, what have you. So I really started tailoring my classes towards you know, the people in my community and really helping them to create a more plant-based menu that can help them, you know, lower their A1C or lower their blood pressure and what have you. And also with my family, you know, dealing with people that were suffering from chronic illnesses. My tia who had breast cancer, you know, she's the one that really inspired me to really look into alternative ways of healing her through food. And so that's how Guayaba Kitchen started, just like my passion for food, but also trying to see how I can help out my community and the people that I was serving, by offering you know, culturally relevant you know, vegan, plant-based recipes that, you know, that their palate is familiar with. Because unfortunately, if you look up, like, you know, the American Cancer Association, or like any kind of like diabetic database, and all the foods that they recommend are very like Eurocentric, very Western palate, um, and that our community is not accustomed to eating, you know. So I really started just like veganizing, or making my favorite Mexican recipes that I love, that I grew up with, making them vegan and sharing them with the community. And people have been really open to that. So that was our main focus, and we're still continuing that work with Guayaba Kitchen. You know, we offer you know, private classes. I do pop-ups every now and then when we're not too extremely busy. We do you know, catering, and these kind of classes with the community, just opening up to people, and getting feedback from everybody, and taking that back into the kitchen, and trying to create new recipes que les guste.
No, they've been fantastic. The last one you did what you did, you did mushroom tacos, I think it was.
Oh yeah, we did a mushroom taco for last time, and so this time we're gonna do a little something more summery because it's so hot. And I don't know about y'all, pero when it's hot, I mean, no tengo nada de ganas de cocinar. I don't want to cook. I don't want to do anything. So we're gonna throw something together really quick today. That's really gonna highlight a lot of the summer flavors, which is also something that I like to really emphasize with Guayaba Kitchen, is cooking seasonally. You know, so our menu is always changing. So if you ever get to check out our pop-ups, like we hardly ever have like the same thing, because we're changing with the season. So we're gonna be focusing on summer flavors today.
Wendy, antes que empezás, Irene Hernandez says, hi from San Fernando. Wendy is amazing.
Yay, thank you, Irene.
And then Maria Carrillo, she also says,
Oh.
Pacoima, love everything that Wendy makes. She fed our cancer survivors many years ago in the San Fernando Relay.
Yeah.
And she also, Irene Hernandez says, she provides so much great education to the community, and the food is delicious.
Oh, thank you so much, muchachas. Yes, I did work with the Relay for Life in the San Fernando Valley to put together a few recipes for them and for cancer survivors. If you look on our YouTube channel, Guayaba Kitchen, you can find one of the recipes that we partnered up with Relay for Life in San Fernando, and you can kind of check that out as well.
Great. So now for the la ensalada, show us how you make isn't it great you can make your own pesto, make your own sauce, versus
Yes.
buying the stuff that's in a jar with 101 chemicals, God knows how long it's been there on the shelf.
Yeah, I mean, no shame. If you want to do that, that's cool too. But my biggest thing with pesto is that it's so expensive. Like if we're trying to make it at home, it's super expensive because pine nuts are very expensive. As you know, they come from a certain type of pine cone. So they're so expensive because pine cones only produce a certain amount of pine nuts, right? So it takes a bunch of pine nuts to make pesto, and that's why the pine nuts are so expensive. But we're gonna do this a little more budget friendly, because that's what we do in Guayaba Kitchen, right? I want my recipes to be accessible to people. I want people to be able to just go to their local grocery store that's in their community and be able to find their ingredients there. You don't have to go to like Whole Foods or like Trader Joe's. That's like who knows where. I buy all of my stuff locally. Right now I'm in Silmar, so I do a lot of my shopping at my local Vallarta and my local Juan's, and so everything that we're going to be using today is totally accessible. So instead of using pine nuts, we're going to kind of make it a little different. We're going to use roasted pumpkin seeds. In vez del pine nuts, they still have like that nice fatty, nutty flavor that you expect from a pine nut, but this is with a pumpkin seed, which is good for people with nut allergies también. And so traditionally the pesto is made again with the pumpkin seeds, with the pine nuts and basil, but we are going to use cilantro instead, right? Because, we're going to be doing Chicana cuisine, and like, are we Chicanos if we don't eat cilantro, right? So we're going to make our pesto really easy. The recipe is available. I know Jimena has it. She could share it with y'all. So y'all can take a look at that. But we're going to start making our pesto. And I already have my water going to cook my pasta. I'm going to be using farfalle, but you can use any kind of pasta that you want. This is a pasta salad. It's carne asada season. So people want us to bring a dish, y que la cosa. So this is perfect for like a little potluck and what have you. So I have a whole, yeah.
I'm sorry. Kathy is asking, I love pesto, but I usually don't eat pasta. What else can I use the pesto, please?
Yes. So this particular pesto, I like to, reserve a little bit and mix it into my mayonnaise to make tortas. So I can grill my tortas on the grill. You can also add a little bit more oil to it to make it a bit more watery, and you can brush some like veggies with it for the grill, or like if you eat carne, you could put it on some fish or some chicken to grill también, or just to have it. I just kind of like to have it in the fridge and just kind of throw it into like anything. If I'm just feeling lazy, just to kind of spruce it up, I'll just throw in a little bit of that pesto in there. So you don't necessarily have to do it with pasta. You could do like zoodles también, stuff like that. So I have a whole bunch of cilantro. I'm going to use half of this bunch, and I just kind of tore it in here. You don't have to really do much to it because we're going to blend it, right? So then I have here my roasted and salted pumpkin seeds, and I already bought them roasted and salted. But if you buy them raw, you could just roast them on a little comalito. So we're gonna add some in here.
Wendy, if I don't have pumpkin seeds, can I use walnuts or an alternative nut to still make a pesto?
Yeah, totally. You can use any kind of nut or any kind of seed. This works really well. Yeah, with walnuts or with sunflower seeds también. It works really well with that. All right. So, and also talking about pumpkins, it's time to start planting your pumpkins so that they are ready for like October-ish, November-ish time. So if you have space in your garden, now is the time to get your little pumpkins going. So I have here some vegan Parmesan cheese from Follow Your Heart. You can use just regular Parmesan cheese, whatever you want, but this is a plant-based cheese. I'm gonna use 1/3 of a cup. And if you're feeling cheesy, pues échale más, right? Okay, and then I have just some garlic, cloves. I'm gonna add 2 of them. I usually add a little bit more, but the pasta salad is gonna have garlic también. So I don't wanna, but I mean, is there such a thing as garlic overload? I don't think so. So I'm just gonna peel these babies, and I have my water going, and it's heavily salted. You want it to be like, seawater, because you really want, the pasta no tiene sabor, like it doesn't taste like anything. So you want to be able to get some flavor in there. So I've got my salted water going on. All right, and then here's the kick. We're gonna add a 1/4 of a jalapeno. Now this is totally optional. You don't have to add a 1/4. So I'm just gonna cut it in half, and then that half I'll cut it in half again. But this is gonna give us a nice little heat that I like, and it's actually good to eat chile in the summer because it's gonna make you sweat, and sweating cools you down. So eat your chiles. Now this limon. Side story, I actually had to buy a limon today, and it's so weird for me to buy lemons because like we grew up with the lemon tree. If you're from the valley, you know that there's citrus growing everywhere. So like we grew up with a lemon tree at my mom's house, but my mom's in Mexico right now and I can't access her lemons. So I had to actually buy a limon, and they're expensive. They're like 80 cents each.
We get so spoiled having all those citrus trees in our backyard. I have a lemon tree, the same thing. If I go somewhere or I forget to pick some off the tree, and yes,
Yeah.
they're
You're like,
very
what am I
expensive at
doing?
the store.
Buying a
Yes.
limon. Yeah. So like, get together with your friend that has a lemon tree or something and do a trade, because it doesn't make sense to buy these lemons at 80 cents each. So I did half half of a lemon, the juice of half a lemon. I'm gonna add a little bit of salt. Usually when it says salt to taste, I like to start with like a quarter teaspoon, and then I can add a little bit more if I need to. But remember that the cheese itself is salty, so you don't need to add too much cheese. All right, so again, let's recap what we've got in here. I want to make sure that we're all following the recipe. So we have my cilantro, half a bunch. If you don't like cilantro, you can do the basil or you can do parsley, como quieran. We've got our pumpkin seeds in here. We've got our cheese in here, and I did 2 cloves of garlic, and I just kind of mashed them a little bit, because I'm gonna let the blender do most of the work. I've got my quarter jalapeno. If you want it spicy, do half of the jalapeno, the juice of a half of a lemon, a little bit of salt, and then what I'm gonna do is I am going to get a quarter cup of olive oil, and I'm not gonna add it into my blender now. I'm gonna add it slowly into my blender while I'm blending this, right? So let me get a quarter cup going right here. And this is just extra virgin, nothing fancy olive oil. And a lot of people have asked me, what kind of oil do you recommend that I use for cooking or what have you? So olive oil, my rule is, for me, I don't use it for cooking. I only use it like when I'm gonna make a sauce or when I need a finishing oil, because it doesn't have a high smoking point. If I cook with this, if I like saute with it, it's gonna get hot and it's gonna burn, and then my food is gonna taste gross. It's gonna be bitter. So for anything that you're going to use raw, then I would recommend an olive oil. But if you want like a good cooking oil to saute or what have you, then grab you some ¿cómo se llama? Avocado oil. Has really high heat and it's a nice quality clean oil that you can cook with. También grapeseed oil works well as well. So you notice I don't have any liquid in here other than the juice, and I'm just gonna put this on my power blender. You can use a food processor también, but I'm gonna use my blender. And then what I'm gonna do is slowly, I'm going to add my quarter cup extra virgin olive oil. My water is boiling, so I'm actually gonna get my pasta going. I'm gonna do about a cup of pasta. These are the big ones, so they're gonna cook up pretty quick. Pretty big. Penne works well with this pasta. With this salad también, or orzo. Any kind of pasta really. All right, so I'm gonna do the blender, and what I'm gonna do is I kind of want to get everything nicely chopped up in there, and then I'm gonna add my aceite. So I'm using a quarter cup just to start with, but if I see that it needs a little bit more liquid, like if it needs to be a little más mojadito, a little bit more loose, pues entonces I'll add a little bit of olive oil. We can even do a little bit of water. All right, so let's go. It's going to give you a little bit of resistance in the beginning because it's dry, but just keep going, okay? Just keep going. So I started off on low, and then I kind of turn it up. That looks good. I want mine to stay stay a little chunky. I don't want it to be like completely pureed. I still want to see the body in there. So let's try this for salt. And you don't need a power blender to do this. Again, you can do it in your regular blender. This just makes life easier. But let me show you what this looks like. It's still kind of chunky. It's not very wet, as you can see, and that's what we want. We don't want it to be too wet. And you're not making a smoothie, so you don't want this to be completely smooth, but you also do not want like big chunks of pepitas or pumpkin seeds floating around. But this is perfect. That looks great. Nice and green. And let's try. It's perfect. Oh, that's good. It's bright, it's citrusy, it's green. You could taste it back here. It tastes like summer. Really
That'd be
good.
really good too with like some hummus and pita, or even like a bruschetta, you know, on some bread and a little
Yes.
tomatoes.
Yes, if you get a nice like baguette, toast it up, put this on it, and then you could, yeah, put some tomatoes on top. Beautiful, beautiful. You could do so many things with this sauce, and this will stay in the fridge. You know, I'm gonna put it in my little container where I had my cheese. You can keep it for up to 2 weeks in the refrigerator. And you can, you know, if you want it, like I said, if you want it to be a little more wet, just add a little bit of olive oil to it. All right, so we got this. You could do this in itself is one whole thing, one whole recipe. You could do whatever you want with that. But I'm going to show you how to make the pasta for the carne asada that everybody's going to be invited to. You know, carne asada season is here. I actually went camping this last weekend, and I made a version of this salad, and it was a big hit because it was so hot, right? Because when it's hot, se antoja comer frío. You want to eat cold stuff. So I have this cute box of cherry tomatoes. You can use grape. And we're just going to do a little chop on these. We're just going to cut them in half.
Wendy?
You can use grape. Yeah.
Kathy's asking, will this tolerate freezing? I freeze my basil pesto.
Yes, the same way that you would freeze your basil pesto, you do the same thing. I've done it before where I just put them in like ice cube trays. And like the silicone ones that you can pop open, and it works really well frozen as well. Great question. Yeah, but I usually just have it in the fridge ready to go. Like I said, it makes a really good spread if you're gonna make like a nice like a torta with like tomatoes and maybe some like a queso panela or queso fresco. Really good. Or you can even like make a batch and hook up your friends, you know, with a little gift. Put it in a cute little jar. Mm-hmm. Any other questions? Thanks for asking questions, y'all. Whatever you, even if the question doesn't pertain to this particular recipe, but if you have just a general cooking question, you can also ask away.
No, but I'll just put the recipe on again so people can follow us. But if you happen to miss a portion of today's talk, please go on our Facebook page, our website, and also on our YouTube channel. And the recipes will be there, and you're able to witness Wendy do her salsa and her pasta for us.
Yeah. So you can come back to it if you miss anything today. You can come back to it on the YouTube channel. So I think that's cool on tomates. I don't need too many. I'm just gonna add those to my, I think, un bowl aquí. So we'll add that. And we're also gonna add some freshness by the way of some parsley. You know, it's really beneficial to eat our greens raw like this. It helps cleanse the blood, gives us all that iron. You know, the greener the leafy green is, the more iron is in it. Y ahorita con este calor, we need iron so that we're not feeling tired. So I'm doing half a bunch of this parsley. And I know we already have cilantro in our pesto, but I love cilantro, so I'm gonna get just a tiny bit. So remember, this is the half of that other one, so I'm probably gonna do a quarter. And I'm gonna do the whole thing. If you notice the parsley, I didn't cut up the stems. The stems are kind of tough on the parsley. But on a cilantro, they're a bit more subtle and more blanditas, softer. So I'm gonna use all of it. And I'm just doing a rough chop. So it's media rustica, the salad, you know, it's like rustic style. It doesn't have to be super fancy. Okay. Again, I like chile, so I'm gonna add a little bit of chile flakes up in here. Get that going.
Wendy, have you thought about doing a cookbook?
You know what? I am working on a cookbook, but I'm going to start with just making one for my family with like family recipes, and eventually venture out and share with everybody else.
That's really cool to document your family's recipes.
Yeah, you know, we're getting to the point in my family where it's like my mom's generation is starting to go. You know, it's like before when we were kids, it was like my grandparents, like brothers and sisters were going, like my mom's like family, you know. But yeah, it's like my mom. It's just, she's getting older. I don't have any of my grandparents now. My tios and tias are getting older, so I want to be able to document their recipes, and then hopefully share them with everybody else también.
Absolutely.
Yeah, soon. So look how beautiful this looks, just like this. This is just our cilantro, our parsley, our tomates. Le vamos a echar poquita sal. We're gonna start with a 1/4 teaspoon, maybe just an 1/8. We'll just do an 1/8 of a teaspoon for now.
Wendy?
Yeah.
Jaslo is asking, what's your most popular plant-based platter?
I think my most popular would be any kind of taco. People love our tacos. So one of the tacos that I make that people really like is our chicharrón, and we spell our chicharrón with an X because it's not CH. We do a vegan chile verde chicharrón taco that people really like. And I really enjoy preparing that because it just tastes like my mom's house, you know?
So how's the vegan chicharrón? What is it made out of?
So I use a bean curd to kind of emulate or to kind of replicate más bien a chicharrón. And then I prepare the green salsa just the way that you would normally do it, you know, with the tomatillos and the jalapeños, serrano y toda esa cosa. Blend it up, mix it in with the bean curd, and serve it with some frijoles de la olla. And of course, tortillas hechas a mano. When we do our pop-ups, all of our tortillas are handmade. So to give it a more authentic flavor, you know. All right, so I added the juice of the other half of the lemon, and I'm gonna add some pepper up in here, just black pepper, freshly ground. This is Costco. Very inexpensive. I mean, if you're gonna splurge on something, get yourself some good cooking oil, some nice salt, and some nice pepper. If you have that, then you can make anything taste good. And I just buy, I have tons of spices. There's a store here in the Valley for my Valley people that are tuning in. Sunland Produce on Sunland and Glen Oaks, in Sunland, has an amazing assortment of ¿cómo se llaman? Spices. And then I buy in bulk at Costco. I'll buy like my Himalayan salt and my avocado oil and what have you.
What other spices do you use? Because I find myself, I always use cumin, oregano, well, salt and pepper.
Yeah, those are my favorite. Those are a must. Oregano and comino, I put that in everything. But I use, of course, salt and pepper. I like to use garlic and onion powder también, not granulated, but powder. That's one that I always have. I always have some kind of chili powder, whether it's like Nuevo Mexico chili or California chili, just to add a little, you know, a little pop to something. What else? Oh, there's this really good seasoning from Trader Joe's. I think I still have it packed away. Like I went camping this weekend, so I have all my spices packed. But it's like a mushroom umami seasoning that they carry at Trader Joe's, and I think they have like at other stores. If you go to like an Asian market, you can find the like mushroom like
Powder?
bouillon or mushroom seeds powder. Yeah, that stuff is amazing because sometimes you're like, ay, me hace falta algo. I need something, something, something. Throw in some of that mushroom bouillon or that mushroom powder, and you're good to go. That's actually one of my favorite seasonings right now is that mushroom powder. Yeah, but you gotta have cumin. Cumin and oregano is like
I get
it's
cumin and
number.
coriander,
Yeah, coriander, yes.
because someone did some Indian food in my house and there was some coriander left over, which I didn't cook with much.
Yeah.
And I was tasting it and just has a nice little edge to it. It's, powdered cilantro, no?
Yeah, it's like it has a lot of floral notes to it. There's a class that I teach on how to make seasonings, like your own seasoning blend. Because one of the seasonings that the mujeres in my class were really like in love with was the Nor Suiza, or like chicken bouillon type of thing. But we're like looking at the ingredients. I was like, look, ladies, it has all this. It has a lot of sodium, it has a lot of preservatives. So let's try to make something that's a little more natural. So we would put a mix together with like, ¿cómo se llama? I got it right here. Nutritional yeast, salt, pepper, paprika, cumin, oregano, and to kind of get like the same flavor of that Nor Suiza that everybody loves. So that's actually one of the classes that we're going to be doing later on this year with La Plaza. So we're going to start doing in-person classes, y'all. So stay tuned for that. And I'll be teaching y'all how to make some spices.
One thing I had like an old coffee grinder and like to make with dried chilies. I have the dried chili powder. So it's a great way of keeping it fresh because sometimes I find some of the little jars of the chili powder. I don't know how long it's been there.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so with an old coffee grinder, I just put them in. I cleaned it up real from last time, right?
Yeah.
Grind them up, and then I recycle the little containers and just write there. Oh, it's jalapeno, it's serrano, whatever it is.
Yeah, that's really smart. That's a really smart thing to do, because you can buy it in bulk, and then you can make a lot of it. For the winter time, I usually make little spice blends and I give them out to like my family and what have you. But yeah, invest in a coffee grinder. And you can, I mean, they're pretty inexpensive. I saw a coffee grinder for like $10 at Target. So save up your pennies, get you a coffee grinder, and then you can make your own mixes because it's actually cheaper to buy the spices whole, and they last longer if you have them whole. You even throw them in your freezer and then take them out as you need them. You can, blend them up or grind them in your coffee grinder that you're only going to use for that, because otherwise your coffee is going to taste like comino and all that stuff. And it's a great way to, get your fresh seasoning, because that's what cooking's all about. It's not just salt and pepper. It's like, what can I add to really, zhuzh it up? And you got to season your food well, right? Okay, so my pasta is done. It's beautiful. Let me bring this over here. So I'm telling y'all, this is easy recipe, easy peasy, quick. Me voy a quemar right here. All right. So we've got our fresh ingredients up in here, and I'm just gonna add a few swirls of olive oil into my raw tomatoes and my raw herbs. Le voy a echar directamente from the pot. I'm gonna kind of drain it a little bit, get the water out, and add that. And so, like I said, I made this camping. So what I did is I prepared the base, like all the fresh stuff, and then I put it in a little baggie. And at the campground, I made the pasta. So all I had to do was toss my pasta with all my pre-made base, and then we had a nice little salad to go with our dinner.
I was thinking too, Wendy, maybe with quinoa.
Oh yeah.
Or africa, another
bulgur,
hearty grain.
Yeah, any like bulgur wheat would be really good, kind of like a tabbouleh salad type of thing. Yeah, get creative with it, y'all. Like a recipe is just a roadmap, right? But you could take whatever twist and turn you wanna take to get you where you want to go. So I'm looking at this. I feel like it needs a little bit of pepper because I don't see too many black specks in here, and I want to see it. So this in itself, you could serve it like this. This is a salad. This is pasta salad right here. But of course, we're gonna zhuzh it up, and we are going to add a few tablespoons of our beautiful pesto. Look at that. Again, it's not very runny. I'm just gonna add maybe 2 cucharadas right here. Give that a toss.
What's nice too is you can probably make this in the morning. And then if you have an afternoon event or a barbecue.
Yes. Yes, this actually tastes better the longer you let it sit. And ideally you want your pasta to cool down before you throw it in here. Pero así se la puse warm, it's fine. This, I'm just gonna cover this and it'll be ready for dinner time. The pasta would be nice and cooled, and it had absorbed all the flavor that we threw in here. So that's looking good. Let me taste it. You always gotta taste. You know, you don't want to serve people something and then you hadn't tasted. What if it doesn't taste good? Oh man, that's good. It's citrusy. It's fresh, like I said. It tastes like summer with these tomatoes in here. I like the idea of serving this over some like bruschetta or something type of thing.
Wendy, can you hold up the platter before we take a photograph? Perfect. Amarada, how we doing? Got a photo?
Let's see. What you say, cheese there, Wendy?
Cheese.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah. I almost forgot one thing, y'all. Híjole.
Oh.
Híjole. I almost forgot the garlic. Now, garlic is a great thing to eat in the summer, especially for barbecue time, because mosquitoes hate garlic. So before you go to the carne asada, maybe like the day or two before, you need to start eating your garlic. I don't know the science behind it, but mosquitoes hate it, so we love it. And I don't know how it's looking over there in LA, but here in the valley, the mosquitoes are just like waiting at your door. Like as soon as you open the door, they're like, I'm coming in.
And last year there was the little Japanese ones that were really tiny.
Are they the ones with the striped legs?
All I know is they were like itty bitty. You wouldn't see them, and then they would just attack your ankles.
Yes. So that's what we got going on right now in the valley. So get you some garlic, and you can eat it raw, just like mince it really well, and then put it with some lemon and a little bit of honey, and you can eat it that way, or you could eat it raw, como tú quieras, in your salad. But just get you some garlic. So I have 2 cloves of garlic here. I tried it and I was like, it's good, pero le hace falta algo. It needed the garlic. So I'm just mincing this pretty well because of course I don't want my guests to bite into a huge piece of garlic while they're trying to enjoy their salad. So I'm just gonna run my knife through it. Any other questions out there in Facebook, or are we live on Instagram as well?
We are live on Facebook and Zoom.
Oh, okay. Yeah, if anybody has any questions, please ask away. Para eso estamos. I'm actually going to be starting a series of cooking classes through Tia Chucha's Centro Cultural Bookstore here in the Valley. So if you're interested in signing up for my classes, I have a cooking for self-care class for teenagers where we do journaling for self-care, and then we also do cooking, of course. So I combine my 2 passions, which is like writing and poetry and cooking. And then I'm also going to be teaching an adult cooking class, and that class is going to be in Spanish. We're targeting Spanish-speaking folks. So if you're interested in taking the class, they're totally free. You just got to go over to tiachucha.com or .org, sorry, and you can sign up there.
Yeah, Tía Chucha's is a wonderful organization. We always partner with them. In April, they have a great poetry series. And in April, it's Poetry Month. So we've been partnering with them for the last couple of years. So once La Plaza opens up completely, I hope to invite them back. And they're great partners, education and literacy. And that's awesome that you're doing that journaling and working with teenagers. That's so important.
Yes, yeah, totally. Yeah, I love Tia Chuchas. I've been working with Tia Chuchas, volunteering for years since they opened up. So over 15 years, I've been a part of the Tia Chucha family. And yeah, they do a lot of awesome stuff. They're one of the only bookstores here in the Northeast San Fernando Valley that offer, cultural workshops. I just had my son take he took a puppet class through Tia Chucha's puppet theater. So we
Very
created
cool.
like little puppets in like little boxes and made like a little play, toda la cosa. Really cool stuff. And they just announced all their summer classes. I'm adding a little bit more olive oil. This is a different one. This is like a nice, remember I told you to invest in the nice oil. I like to use this when I'm making any type of salad or vinaigrette or what have you. Just good flavor. Yeah, so check out the Chucha on Instagram or Facebook, what have you, and you can check out all their summer programming. Aside from my cooking class, they have a lot of other cool stuff going on for the community, and most of the classes, I believe, are free. My class is free, and in my class, we also provide the ingredients.
That's awesome, Wendy. That's good to know.
Yeah.
So one more time, how can we find you on your Instagram?
At Guayaba Kitchen. All social media platforms at Guayaba Kitchen. We're most active on Instagram. That's where we'll post like our classes, our pop-ups that we're going to be having, any type of sales that we have, all through Instagram. So check us out.
Thank you so much. It's always such a treat to have you. You're direct to the point, the recipe, answering all our questions. I love what you're doing for the community and offering free classes and just having us being aware of our health, especially our comunidad, going back to the vegan diet and how to incorporate it little by little through a salsa, through a vegetable.
And a lot of people don't realize that muchas de nuestras comidas, a lot of our original foods are plant-based. If we go back to our indigenous roots, a lot of our foods are already plant-based. So I'm just bringing it back. We're not reinventing the wheel here. We're just resharing the knowledge that's already out there. And this is our beautiful salad. So I added a little bit. Ya ustedes, you can mess with it and add and subtract and do whatever you want. I added a little bit more olive oil, that garlic in there. I totally forgot about. That raw garlic really gives it a nice little pop. I can feel the spiciness from not only the chili flakes that I added here, but also the chile in my pesto. And again, I'm already sweating, so that's good. My body needs to sweat. We need to sweat when it's hot to cool us down. So when I'm gonna take this to the carne asada, right before I serve it, I'm gonna take some pepitas or some pumpkin seeds and just sprinkle them on top, and that's gonna give me another texture in here as well. And that's what it's looking like, y'all.
It's gorgeous and fresh and looks so delicious.
Yes, the pasta already cooled down, so it's like it doesn't take that long. But again, like you were saying, Jimena, make this in the morning. So in la tarde, all the tomatoes will had released a lot of their juice. So it's gonna be nice and like a nice wet, cold, crunchy salad. And I don't know about y'all, but like in the summertime, eso es lo que se me antoja comer. Something fresh. I don't want to eat. Well, I mean, I don't mind eating pozole either. But I mean, I don't like to cook when it's too hot. So this is perfect. I can keep this in the fridge for a few days and eat it by itself or toss it with like whatever. I'm going to be grilling tonight. So I'm going to have this with some calabacitas, grilled calabacitas, and I'm going to throw in some of my pesto onto my calabacitas. I'm also going to bake some or roast some potatoes, crack them open, put a little bit of butter, put a little bit of my pesto in there. It's going to be a good time tonight for dinner.
Eso sí sabe bueno. That sounds delicious, the potato. En todo caso, muchas gracias. Éxitos on your pop-ups and Tia
Thank you.
Chucha. You'll be working with us later in this year
Yes.
with the Open La Cocina. Looking so forward to working with you. And
Yes,
again, thank
I
you so
love
much
y'all.
for giving back to the community. That's so wonderful. It's such a neat thing in our community. Otra vez, muchísimas gracias. Thank you
Gracias a
so much.
ustedes. Thanks for having me, and thanks y'all for tuning in and for asking your questions. Cualquier cosa que les ofrezca, you know, if you have any other questions or something that you didn't really quite understand, hit me up on Instagram. Slide into my DMs. It takes me a while to get through messages, but I will get back to you. But yeah, thanks so much. Thanks, Abelardo and Jimena, for having me and for trusting me and trusting me.
Of course. No, thank you. And I usually ask, well, who's going to eat the fabulous meal that you just, but you already answered that question. So
this is going to be dinner tonight. But you know what? Sometimes when I have classes, because I'm teaching like 3 or 4 classes a week, it's like sometimes I do have a lot of food left over. So I'll just like take it to my neighbors, or I'll call like my sisters, like come over for dinner or pick up a plate or whatever. And if y'all were close, I would totally invite you to come try this salad.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Well, Wendy, always a pleasure having you on. I mean, as Jimena said, you bring some great recipes, but then also the backstory and the nutrition and everything that really makes this a community effort, and everything that you do with Tia Chucha. So I'm assuming Tia Chucha's is now open to the public.
Yeah, they're open. I know they're doing like limited capacity that you could shop it at the store, but I do believe that all of their books are available online. So if there's something that you like, just, you know, you can order it online. They have the person that's in charge of the books does an awesome job of like getting a lot of cool stuff in there. A lot of really good cookbooks are at Tia Chucha's right now. Colonize Your Diet is one of my favorite ones that I use in my classes. We have Todo Verde's book up in there también, and the sous chef. So if you're looking to expand your cookbook collection, definitely check out Tia Chucha's and see what they got going on.
All right, thank you. And thank you all that joined us today. We had Claudia Williams Rocha, who is from Burbank, but currently is working in San Fernando. Thank you for joining us, Claudia. Yolanda Chacon Serna from Delano, California, del Valle Central, and Jazz Lowe from Huntington Park.
Nice.
And then we have Lily Ana, and she says, awesome. And Maria Carrillo on Zoom. Thank you, everyone. So thank you, everyone that joined us. Thank you, Wendy. Thank you, Jimena. Just real quickly, we talked about our live programming taking place at La Plaza starting July 17th with the opening of our outdoor stage once more with Carlos Amaras playing with fire. It's an outdoor screening. We have Summer of Salsa. We get the salsa going on again Friday, July 23rd at 6 o'clock with the Arsenio Rodriguez Project. And finally, in July, Sunday, July 25th, the 10th anniversary Family Day there at La Plaza. It's on a Sunday from 10 to 4 with some great workshops as we usually have on our family. This is the first one in more than a year, almost 2 years now. Wow. Well, we really are looking forward to everybody joining us at our Family Day with the Bob Baker Marionette Theater. That's something your son might be interested in. Nadia Calmet, Afro-Peruvian educator and choreographer, the Tierra Blanca Dance Company, and special guest, Las Colibrí. All right, so that's live, but also we continue with En Casa con la Plaza. So upcoming this weekend, we have on Wednesday, June 30th, Bridge Building with Joy, Playfulness, and Power with Camila Cameleon, the president of the San Gabriel Valley LGBTQ Center. And then finally on Friday, Dan Guerrero returns with his happy hour with Judy Baca, the muralist, educator, and activist. And then next week we take off. I mean, just for Monday anyway, because we're celebrating July 4th. So on July 5th, we're going to be maybe cooking up your wonderful pesto salad.
Yes, make it.
We will. All right. Well, thank you everybody out there for joining us. Thank you to our sponsor, AARP California, and getting back to normal, including the heat. So we'll see you all soon. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody. Gracias.